You've probably always heard that nuts are good for you. They're packed with healthy fats, plant-based protein, and minerals that sound like the perfect recipe for heart health and longevity. But here's what almost no one talks about. If you're a man over 50, the wrong kinds of nuts could quietly be hurting your testosterone, loading your system with plant-based estrogens, and even contributing to problems like fatigue, low libido, or weaker erections. And the real kicker? Many of the nuts most often advertised as the healthiest can actually be the most damaging for men's hormones. Today, we're going to break down which nuts secretly sabotage your testosterone and which ones actually support it. This isn't about fear-mongering or cutting out foods you enjoy. It's about understanding how certain plant compounds affect an aging man's hormonal balance. Because as testosterone naturally declines with age, your body becomes far more sensitive to foods that can push your hormones in the wrong direction. By the end of this explanation, you'll know exactly which nuts to avoid, which to enjoy, and how to make simple, strategic choices that help your testosterone, energy, and performance. First, let's understand what makes nuts so impactful on male hormones in the first place. Nuts affect men's hormonal systems through a few main pathways. Some are rich in phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen inside the body. Others are loaded with minerals, like zinc and selenium, which your testicles rely on to produce testosterone. Certain nuts reduce inflammation, improving blood flow and nerve function, while others may do the opposite. And finally, the balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in nuts plays a major role in circulation, hormone production, and even how you feel day to day. The goal is to identify which nuts help tilt these factors in your favor, and which ones throw things off balance, especially as your hormone levels become more delicate over time. Let's start with the 4 nuts that men should limit or avoid entirely. Soy nuts come first, and they're easily the most controversial. Technically, they aren't nuts at all, but legumes. Still, they're often sold alongside almonds and peanuts as a high-protein, heart-healthy option. The issue is that soy is loaded with compounds called isoflavones, including genistein and daidzein. These are potent phytoestrogens that act like estrogen in the male body. Research shows that men who consume soy regularly have lower testosterone and sperm counts. In one Harvard study, men eating just 2 servings of soy foods daily had sperm counts more than 40 million lower per milliliter than men who avoided soy. Another study showed that just 4 weeks of soy protein reduced testosterone by almost 20%. The problem worsens because soy nuts aren't fermented, which means their phytoestrogen levels stay high. Unlike fermented soy foods like tempeh or natto, which tone down the hormonal activity, soy nuts are roasted soybeans that pack a concentrated dose of estrogenic compounds. For older men, this is particularly harmful because as you age, your body naturally converts more testosterone into estrogen through an enzyme called aromatase. Eating soy nuts is like adding fuel to that fire. Many men report better energy, stronger erections, and even clearer focus within weeks of cutting soy out. The next culprit is one that's been marketed as a superfood for decades: flax seeds. Walk into any health store and you'll find ground flax labeled as an omega-3 powerhouse and a great source of fiber. But what few realize is that flax is one of the richest sources of phytoestrogens in the entire plant kingdom, containing hundreds of times more lignans than most foods. Just 1 tablespoon of ground flax can deliver more estrogenic compounds than a full cup of soy milk. In studies, men who consumed flax daily saw measurable drops in testosterone. At Duke University, researchers found that consuming flax for just 1 month reduced testosterone by 15%. Flax doesn't just mimic estrogen, it also increases levels of sex hormone-binding globulin, SHBG, a protein that locks up free testosterone so your body can't use it. The result? You end up with less total testosterone and less usable testosterone at the same time. Flax's supposed omega-3 benefit is also misleading. The type of omega-3 in flax, called ALA, must be converted by the body into EPA and DHA, the forms that actually benefit your heart and hormones. Men only convert about 5 to 8% of ALA, while women convert up to 21%, largely because estrogen enhances that process. In other words, flax works better for women than men. Many men have seen their energy, libido, and testosterone numbers rebound after simply removing flax from their smoothies. Our third problem isn't one specific nut, it's flavored or processed nuts. Think honey-roasted, BBQ, or cinnamon-coated mixes you see at gas stations or supermarkets. These might seem like healthier snacks than chips, but they're often loaded with ingredients that wreck hormones. Many of these flavored nuts use licorice extract for sweetness or flavor. Licorice contains glyceric acid, which has been proven to dramatically reduce testosterone. In one Italian study, just 7 grams of licorice a day slashed testosterone levels by 44% in under a week. It blocks the conversion of cholesterol into testosterone, the first step in hormone synthesis, and spikes cortisol, the stress hormone that suppresses testosterone even more. Even without licorice, the roasting and flavoring process creates serious issues. Nuts roasted at high temperatures develop inflammatory compounds like acrylamides and AGEs, which damage hormone-producing cells. They're also often coated in cheap vegetable oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids, pushing your omega balance toward inflammation. Ideally, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in your diet should be around 4:1, but these snacks can push it above 20:1. Add sugar coatings to that, honey or caramel glazes that spike insulin, and you've got the perfect storm. Chronically high insulin suppresses testosterone and drives belly fat storage. That belly fat then creates even more estrogen through aromatase. Lastly, peanuts deserve a mention. Technically legumes, not nuts, peanuts can cause trouble when eaten in excess. They're rich in omega-6 fats and prone to fungal contamination with aflatoxins, which burden the liver, the organ responsible for balancing and detoxifying hormones. A sluggish liver means sluggish testosterone. Many men have low-level peanut sensitivities that keep their bodies in a constant state of inflammation without realizing it. That inflammation reduces circulation and hormone efficiency. If you love peanut butter, go easy on it. Once or twice a week is fine. And choose organic Valencia peanuts when possible. Now for the good news, not all nuts are bad. Some actually boost testosterone and support male vitality, especially when eaten in moderation and in their natural state. Let's start with the champion, Brazil nuts. These large, creamy nuts are nature's most concentrated source of selenium, a mineral that's essential for testosterone production and sperm health. Your testicles contain more selenium than almost any other part of your body, and without enough of it, testosterone simply can't be produced efficiently. Selenium also protects the Leydig cells in your testes, the very cells that make testosterone, from oxidative damage. Studies show that men with higher selenium levels have stronger testosterone production and better sperm quality. In one trial, men who increased selenium intake saw testosterone rise by 35% and sperm motility improve by 50%. Brazil nuts also supply boron, another key mineral that frees bound testosterone by lowering SHBG. Just 1 or 2 nuts per day are enough to provide these benefits. But don't overdo it, because too much selenium can be toxic. The best time to eat them is with breakfast when your body's hormone synthesis naturally peaks. Next, macadamia nuts. Unlike peanuts or almonds, macadamias are extremely low in omega-6 and high in monounsaturated fats, the same heart-healthy fats found in olive oil. These fats help reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and create the perfect environment for hormone production. Macadamias are also rich in thiamine, a B vitamin essential for nerve health and energy metabolism, both critical for testosterone. About a small handful a day, 10 to 12 nuts, is plenty. Then we have tiger nuts, technically tubers, not nuts. They've been consumed in Africa and Spain for centuries for their vitality-enhancing effects. Research shows tiger nuts can raise testosterone levels naturally. Animal studies found increases as high as 200%, while human trials show steady improvements in libido and hormone balance. They're loaded with arginine, which boosts nitric oxide, improving blood flow and erectile response. They also contain vitamin E and zinc, two crucial nutrients for reproductive health. You can eat them raw, roasted, or blended into milk or flour. Lastly, pistachios, one of the best foods for circulation and erectile health. In a Turkish study, men who ate 100 grams of pistachios daily for 3 weeks saw a 50% improvement in erectile function. Pistachios are rich in arginine and antioxidants that support blood vessel flexibility, and their healthy fats aid testosterone synthesis. Eat them unsalted and in their shells. This slows you down and prevents overeating. So how should you use all this information? Start small. Eat 1 or 2 Brazil nuts every morning for selenium. Choose either macadamias, tiger nuts, or pistachios as your daily snack. Rotate between them to get a balance of nutrients. Avoid soy nuts, flax seeds, and heavily processed nut mixes. Limit peanuts to a few times per week. Store nuts properly. Most go rancid faster than people realize, especially high-fat varieties like Brazil and macadamia. Keep them in the freezer, sealed in glass or airtight containers. If your nuts taste bitter or smell off, they're rancid. Throw them out immediately. Rancid oils are inflammatory and cancel out the very benefits you're trying to achieve. Let's be realistic. No food will turn back the clock to your 20s. But making the right choices can absolutely support your body's ability to produce and maintain healthy testosterone levels. Within 2 to 4 weeks, many men notice better morning energy, improved mood, and stronger performance. Over a few months, blood work often confirms the difference. This isn't about restriction. It's about strategy. You don't need to give up all nuts. Just choose the ones that support your goals. Start tomorrow by swapping your usual snack for a handful of pistachios and add 2 Brazil nuts to your breakfast. After 30 days, notice how your energy, confidence, and vitality feel. Sometimes the simplest changes make the biggest difference. Food is medicine, and when chosen wisely, even something as small as a handful of the right nuts can help your body restore balance, vitality, and strength at any age.